You a beautiful soul who has been attracting something less than beautiful masculine energy. Maybe you have been calling in men or women holding that masculine energy of darkness, of at best kind of flaky, avoidant, at worst toxic, in the sense that he is angry, he is rageful, he's abusive, he is manipulative, narcissistic, taking, so many different expressions of it. But the most kind of the silent killer one would be avoidant and maybe not expressing his love, his affection. He does love you, but he's shut down. And the reason he might be shut down is because he's afraid that the whole can of worms will open if he opens his true masculine energy. Then he'll have really toxic, obvious toxic energies. So if you are ready to avoid these types of situations, scenarios, either getting hurt, abandoned, gaslit, so many different scenarios, and you're ready to have a sacred relationship with the masculine within yourself, so you can call in a partnership, soul family connections, business relationships that are holding a powerful masculine energy, so you can get your soul purpose done, so you can be in healthy unions, so you can enjoy your life without all the toxic energy. These are my 3 keys that I've found will help you to reverse the damage. And when you apply these, you will start to have a masculine energy coming in to hold space and support. I actually had an issue with these slides, and I used one of the tools in these keys, and my man came running down to help me to fix the tech. And he honored his own masculine and feminine too, and was like, I'm so happy to support you. And can I get some more support from you? I've been noticing you've been taking a lot of my tech skills, and I would like some yummy, support too. So it's all about balance, and that's where I want to start the slides from. This is a training about balancing your own sacred feminine, sacred masculine, and that the toxic masculine is also a sign of energetic imbalance. So there might be some toxic feminine stuff going on too. Let's dive in. All right, to avoid the toxic masculine, you will want to heal yourself first. So let's give ourselves a hug and say, I'm ready to claim my own divine masculine energies. Now, therefore, you can also follow me with this affirmation that we're going to start off with. I'm ready to heal my own divine feminine energies. Right, and that means you're ready to align the sacred masculine, feminine within yourself. So say, I am ready to balance the divine feminine and divine masculine within myself. Yay! All right, so let's go into some really good detail. First of all, I'm Dr. Amanda Noelle. If you don't know me, I'm founder of Aphrodite University. A download came to me. I have past lives in the mystery schools, and this lifetime, one of my purposes is to bring the energy of Goddess Venus here into this planet and to rise the divine feminine energies again through magic, through mysteries, and I like to call it the mystery school. So whatever way you want to bring that feminine energy, I celebrate you for being here. So let's start with the first key to avoiding the toxic masculine. Key 1 is to heal your own divine masculine energy. We're going to dive in really deep today on how you can do this. What is the divine masculine? It is, first of all, we have the yin yang symbol. They are one and the same. They are mirrors of each other. You cannot talk about the masculine without the feminine without the masculine. We have both. The masculine is more fast. It's represented by the white in the yin yang. It's represented by the sun versus the moon. It's more fire, not water. It's more up and out. It's expansive. It's explosive. It is, it can, when it's in balance, it can be a very powerful form of leadership. When it's toxic and be dictatorial. He is the creator of structure. But of course, he's always connecting back with the feminine. How would you like me to build the structures? He's connecting in with her. She is love. He is light. Light is consciousness. The masculine is also the protector, represented by Archangel Michael. He is the one that is going to stop the attacks by beaming his light and being in his power and having that courage. He's also one that takes action. So if you are a very feminine, watery woman, you will need to learn to take action within yourself and to use your voice, to use your powerful sword and shield in your own way so that you can mirror your masculine energy. So when we talk about feminine, masculine, even the most feminine women will need to heal their own divine masculine energy. To do this, one of the things to do is to accept that it's okay to have emotions and express them openly. So many people, women, men, are terrified to have emotions. We're taught in school, we're taught from young ages, especially the older generations, that it's not okay to have emotions. This is changing. A lot of people, I have friends and clients that work in finance or law, and they're openly saying things, and even at work, if they have that kind of culture, like, oh yeah, I'm going to therapy. Oh my gosh, this really helped me in therapy. So they're starting to express emotions, and even some of my clients will speak to their superiors about their emotions, and their superiors will speak to them. And one story is one of my clients, she was telling me just the other day about how her boss had his daughter go through a very stressful event with a cousin. It was like inappropriately sexual, and he was kind of like going to his coworker / employee, one of the employees, an inferior, and saying like, what should I do about it? This is really emotional for me. So she was nurturing him and holding space for his emotion. And she was like, it's totally okay to feel very upset, and like, you're doing really great. And she was, coaching him through it. And he has had times where he's coached her, like, it's okay if you're stressed and overwhelmed. So I think even in the most elite business spaces now, where we're realizing we have to discuss emotions, we have to discuss burnout, we have to discuss dynamics, because we can't just push it under the surface. But the old masculine is like, sit down, shut up, be quiet. Children have no voice. The women didn't used to have a voice, and now the voice is really speaking up. But we still have this old echo from the past that can say, if I share my emotions, they won't be met. If I share my emotions, somebody's going to get hurt, angry, sad. They're going to misunderstand. And this needs to be addressed. We have to, one, feel our own emotions, and to express them openly. And it takes time and work. And that's some of the work that I do with my clients to help them, not only when they're dating, but when they are in their relationships with their partners. I'm a relationship coach, and I have been for years, especially helping single women call in their twin flame. And it can be very, very uncomfortable for women to go from that single space where they can just be free and do themselves and have all this space, and then they find themselves, even very powerful women, with especially a male partner. Sometimes it's just a masculine partner, but a lot of times women have their daddy issues, their men issues, and their voice shuts down. And they're like, what is going on? I'm a CEO of my company, or, I have all these accolades. And then all of a sudden, I become like this little girl. So we want to heal that emotional center within ourselves and work with our guides, our counselors, different systems that can help us balance emotions. And don't give up if you go through a dark night of the soul or you get down. Also, to heal the divine masculine within ourselves, we want to acknowledge and embrace both the good and bad, because it's part of being human, and to really appreciate them and express them nonviolently. So you can take courses on nonviolent communication. You can Google, what is nonviolent communication? Nonviolent communication is taking responsibility for ourselves. And I'll give you a classic sentence down that I learned when I was studying nonviolent communication back about 20 years ago. If someone, say, stands you up for a date, or they're late, I have so many clients that have been stood up lately. I don't know if it's the astrology, but you can say something like, when you came late, or when you made a date with me and I was waiting for you, I was really frustrated. And then I felt hurt. So you would say, what is the situation? And then you say, I felt, or I feel. So state the situation, and it's got to be a situation that you can record on video camera. You're not saying, you made me mad, or when you flaked out. Like, you can't capture that on video. So you want something that's unarguably true, that you can see on video. We're talking black and white. It is white. So when this happened, I felt or I feel. And then you can share whatever emotion it is. And it's not, I felt like you were a jerk. It's, I felt hurt. I felt sad. And we all need to identify our emotions, and it's important to know what emotions are. So we want to study these things. We want to know what is an emotion versus what is a judgment. Something like, I felt like you were judging me for blah, 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 or I felt like you didn't care about me. Those aren't emotions. So when this happened, I felt X emotion. And then the next thing to say is, if you do that again, if you show up late again, then I'm going to have to stop scheduling with you. And I don't want to have to do that, but I'll do it if that's what it takes. So a really simple sentence stem again is, when this happened, I felt X emotion, and here's the action that I'll take if it happens again. That's a great way to set boundaries. That's a way to speak nonviolently. And when we use nonviolent communication, we clean up our relationships, and we're not spouting out and creating more toxins when we are trying to clean up toxins. So a toxic relationship will look like toxic ping pong back and forth. And couples who are constantly having ups and downs and triggering wounds will really want to invest in working with a counselor or guide who can teach nonviolent communication and help them practice it over a good 6 week to 3 month minimum process to reparent and repattern the communication, the divine communication between the couple. All right, let go of outdated ideas of masculinity. So we might have this idea of, he needs to lead, or he needs to initiate in bed every time, or the masculine is going to provide for me financially. And then you find yourself in a situation with the man who's like, wow, I love you, and this is overwhelming to me, and it's just, I'm not happy in this. So when we stick to outmoded, ideal, mental visions of what we want versus what's actually healthy and in the moment showing up, then we can purge out the toxic masculine as well. Challenging assumptions about what it means to be a man or a woman. To be a beautiful woman, I need to be a size X. In order to have a man in my life, he needs to make X amount of income, or he needs to believe in this, he needs to look like this. When we have all these assumptions, we want to challenge them of like, why, and focus more instead on the feeling of what's actually showing up. So when I met my husband, I was constantly challenging my assumptions. I assumed I needed a man who was older than me. And then I started to challenge that when we were first dating. I was like, wow, like the energy with him feels good, but he's only 25 and I'm 34 and I want to have a baby soon. And so I would challenge myself and challenge him. I would say, listen, like, you seem really awesome, but I want to have a baby and I want to get married relatively soon, and you're only 25. And he was like, well, actually, I'm pretty mature for my age and I want that too. And then I would challenge him, well, financially, here's where I've been at and here's where I'm going. Where are you at? And then he's like, well, I'm going to step up to the occasion. I'm going to, I want to do everything I can to be with you. And I was like, I've never had any man push so hard and show up and apply for so many jobs and get so grounded and manifest an engineering job and then end up getting a part-time other job. And then he was helping me in the business. And I was like, oh my God, he is like so supportive and loving, and like he's willing to like do pretty much anything for me, versus the men I've been chasing after were the toxic masculine, where I had to revolve around their schedule. I would have to fly long distance to be with them, and they would have me sit and wait while they were at Harvard or doing their business deals. And I was like, wow, this is like feeling really good to be this special woman, and I'm just gonna like stay in the relationship a little bit longer before I break up with him. And then here we are almost a decade later with a daughter, and I'm so glad I challenged the assumptions that I thought were freaking true. I was so convinced they were real. Now, we also want to identify a positive divine masculine role model in our life. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is the real embodiment of the guru, of the Jesus. Even the gurus have their issues. And if you're here in 3D, life isn't easy. However, can you find somebody who is a healthy divine masculine role model? A lot of women have game-changing results when they connect to the healthy divine masculine. I remember being on a retreat that we were leading here in Bali a couple years ago, and a woman was like, oh my God, I realized like she was sitting next to Jack and she was like, I've never had a healthy divine masculine role model like in person in my life. And she's like, I've been following you on YouTube, you and Amanda. And I just like, it hit me. Like I have like toxic relationships in my parents. I live in kind of a mainstream city and people are, it's not that they're all toxic, but they're not holding these energies of divine masculine. And like, I've never seen a healthy divine masculine, divine feminine, conscious relationship, two people working together, working through their shit, raising the light, doing sacred temple, priestess work. Like today we're going, after I do this video, we're going to go to the sacred water temple and do a purification. And we do all this deep healing work. And it's like, I want everybody to be doing this. But she said, there's nobody doing this. So find those people, spend time with them, get in the door with them, connect with them, talk to them. Bring those energies in your life if you don't have it yet. Have a dinner party, invite all the most divine masculine role models into your life, interview them, talk to them. Maybe they're 80-year-old men that you're like, wow, such great people. Key 2 is setting clear boundaries. If we want to call in the sacred masculine, we've got to set clear boundaries. And that kind of sentence stem or that example I gave you with the nonviolent communication is huge. If you were to just walk away from just taking that away from this video today, and you were to say to someone today that was pissing you off, rubbing against your edges, and you're just, and you just lovingly say, when you do this, I feel this way. I feel frustrated, or I just feel kind of down. I just feel, I feel anxiety. I feel anxious. I feel sad, whatever it is. I'd like to request that you just don't do that anymore. And if you don't do it, if you have to do it, if you keep doing it, like totally honor and respect you, bro, but I won't be here with you. So when we set these clear boundaries, bam, the energy aligns. So do you know your needs and boundaries? Most people walk around trying to people please other people. They're trying to cover up an early childhood trauma of not feeling good enough, and they're trying to feel good enough by like letting themselves be vampirically drained, or they're emotional empaths and they're healing their father, or they're healing their mother, and they're doing that every day with other people. It's a pattern, a blueprint, and they don't know their edge. They don't know their boundaries. And so we have to constantly come back and ask where are our boundaries? Where were they broken as children? And then repairing and restoring them. This is deep, deep work that we do with our clients. And it can feel literally, physically, like almost like a surgery happening when we heal the core wound, the sacred wound. And then all of a sudden we get clear on what our boundaries are. I don't want to date this kind of guy anymore. I want this, I need this. But so many women are attached to some person that they think they need to sacrifice all of their boundaries and needs because they just need to be with that person. They don't even ask what they need. I didn't ask myself, do I want to be following somebody across the country? Do I want to move to the East Coast or to wherever he needs to go for his career just because I'm so in love with him and I think he's my twin flame? Like, what do I need? What is my purpose? Where do I physically need to be? And when we know what we need, the universe provides. When we set the boundary and we take action on it, the universe will send us a variety of options for people, resources, opportunities that will not only respect our boundaries, but will help us on our soul purpose, because the universe wants to help us. You are on a mission. You are a light worker. So speak up for yourself and tell the world what you need, especially tell the person you are in a relationship, your most intimate connection, what you need. Or if you're working on that, you're single, this is a great practice when you're on your first date, your second date, your ex date, whatever it is. Continually tell them what you need. And sometimes it's like, well, if I tell them what I need, I know they're going to run. Good. I tell my husband what I need, and sometimes he's like, well, then I'm not going to be here for you. Not in the relationship, but like if I'm like, what I need to do today is I need to go to my women's circle reunion party. And he's like, well, okay, you can do that, but I'm not going to give you a ride. Great, I will take a cab. That's great. You're using the motorbike tonight. We have the cash, we just have a joint account. We find a solution. In the past, I would assume that a man, because I had the idea that the man should sacrifice what he was doing to give me a ride, to pay for things. But when I challenged that and was like, okay, what really makes sense in the moment is we both speak up for ourselves from our own divine feminine and masculine needs, say what we need. And if he says, I need to, if you're going to your women's circle and I'm feeling overwhelmed right now, great, support that. And I need a rest tonight, so I need you to take a cab. Great, I'm an adult too. So I'm going to honor his feminine. I'm going to honor my feminine. It all works out in the end. And sometimes there are compromises. Address microaggressions head on. If somebody's passive aggressive to you, if you are passive aggressive to somebody, we can just name it, own it. Sorry, that came out wrong. No, I appreciate that you just gave me the smoothie. I just didn't know if it had the protein powder in it, and I just want to make sure because I'm on this diet, This is examples from my life of like, does this have the protein powder? Did you put the protein powder in it that I told you to put it in? You didn't? Not again? Okay. So sometimes when we're under pressure and we're overwhelmed in 3D, it's totally normal to have patterns come up, and so we can just own it. We need to set that boundary for our partner. Hey, I really appreciated when you did this. And I was wondering if you could say it in a more gentle way, like a tone that's more like, instead of when you said, did it have the protein powder? You could just say, hey, did it have the protein powder? Because when you said it in such a firm tone, it actually felt like you didn't care. That's not an emotion. So we want to say, I felt kind of anxious and like my need for care wasn't met. And if you can look your partner in the eyes, if you can touch them, if you can acknowledge like, wow, I feel that you're frustrated and it makes sense that you're frustrated, like you really wanted the protein powder, or you were doing your best to give me the thing that you were trying to give me. If we can calm down and de-escalate, and we can take responsibility for where we're at, we can hold our own emotions. And oh my gosh, set the healthy boundaries. That is the healthy masculine's golden ticket that will open you up to ecstatic connection, sex, intimacy, love, bliss. So also, we need to talk about things like big historical things, like encourage open dialogues around male privilege, female privilege, because sometimes we can get jealous. We could say, just because you're wearing a dress and you look beautiful, you got in the door at the club, and I had to wait outside. So just like acknowledging, like how did you feel when the bouncer kicked you out, did kick me out, or any gender dynamics, any thing around finances with old paradigm type of things. I've had these conversations, and I'll pick up little fragments, little tidbits when I go back home, because my partner comes from a more traditional household. My family's household was very much like feminist Berkeley, 60s, educated women, both going to grad school, working hard. My parents are total twin flame, twin soul energies. And my husband's parents, they have this more traditional, and I love that they have this twin flame energy as well. And they come from a very traditional woman at home, man out at work, yin and yang kind of thing. And it's funny because at times in our relationship, Jack and I have had that dynamic where he's almost more like his mom, and I was, this older woman that was making all the money at the beginning of our relationship, and he was trying to catch up. And so we can't just assume that, he's a sexist. But having the conversation about history, having the conversation about blueprints and patterns, and especially that we've been coming out of a patriarchy, how does each person feel around this? And not assuming the man is bad. I hate men. But just like owning where the man might hate himself, where the male might feel like he's not living up, where the male might feel jealous. So just any little threads. We got to talk about this and weave a new tapestry. And care about what you think before what he thinks. So if we are people pleasing, we're editing our words to be loved, it ain't going to work. Show vulnerability when you speak up. I'm going to do a whole video about vulnerability and speaking from the vulnerable voice. But vulnerability is the ticket to intimacy. If we're wearing our armor, we cannot have the amour. We cannot have the true deep connection. And so a lot of times women are trying to show off, trying to not be weak, trying to show him that she's empowered, that she's not hurt and she doesn't care. And then she wonders why she's still struggling in her relationships after decades of therapy and coaching. And if we do the divine feminine vulnerability first and we feel it for ourselves and we show it, oh my gosh, that is the ticket, baby. Now let's do our last key 3, self-esteem. Promotes a healthy divine masculine mirror by living by a moral code of integrity and compassion. So the mirror, if we have self-esteem, what we mirror will call in self-esteem. When I had low self-esteem, body image, self-hatred, when I was primping my hair perfectly and spending every extra dime I had on highlights and makeup, and thank goodness I didn't slice my beautiful breasts open to get a boob job. And by the way, now they're way more saggy because I've had years of nursing, two years in a row of nursing my child who liked to pull on them. And I still will not abide by the cult of Baphomet, of blowing up the divine feminine goddess and playing into plasticity. And anyways, self-esteem, it's an inside job. And when we can live from our self-esteem, we actually have a moral code of integrity and compassion for ourselves and others. We can honor our body. So I dated guys when I had low self-esteem that also had body image issues, and they would dump me if I gained a little bit of weight, or if they saw that I had hair, if they saw this, that. And it wasn't really about the body, I think, as much as it was that I would feel awkward and uncomfortable, and they'd be like, oh, you are awkward and uncomfortable. I'm going to go after the more confident girl. And over years, I started to have more and more issues with self-esteem and body image. And as time went on, I started dating guys that were like less and less like successful and attractive. I was like mirroring a lower version of a guy until I was like, whoa, gotta work with my coach, gotta work with my healers. Started really doing inner deep healing work, the mentorship work, similar to things that I do today with my clients. And I started to have breakthroughs where I was like, wow, I really value myself, my assets on the inside. And then when I stopped caring about if he approved of me, the guys I was dating, some of them did not. And that was totally fine, because it was like, it's just not a resonant fit. I just see it for what it is. It's not that I'm not good enough. I am good enough for me. So the key about self-esteem is that you are good enough for you. So cultivate self-esteem by embracing your uniqueness, your strengths. And if you have things that you're challenged by, then just cheerlead yourself in any little improvement that you make. If you have ADHD and you're pretty messy and you've cleaned up your space, just like, wow, good job. I've got one drawer done today. So be the cheerleader and keep on going. Reframe the negative thoughts and build positive affirmations to boost your self-confidence. We've done a lot of affirmations and meditations and healing work with our clients, and it does work. Those 95% of our thoughts are created in the subconscious mind. We have videos and meditations and coursework that women can listen to, and it will really, it takes a little bit of time. It takes at least 2 weeks of listening every day to have a mild breakthrough, and it takes about a year, I would say a year, of really sustaining a big change. So it might take initially 3 months, and that's why most coaches will do a minimum of 3 months to rebirth in 1 quarter, a new pattern, a new program. So if you're working on self-esteem and that's your issue, I would say work for at least 3 months really deeply, and then have something to hold you accountable, to hold you in taking action to integrate all of that over 1 solar cycle. And in that year, you will become more radiant, more confident. You'll have higher self-esteem than you've ever had. And you won't be attracting the same people. You'll have new opportunities. I have clients that their partner partner in the past would say, don't wear that bikini, you have fat on your belly. And now they have a partner that's like, oh my God, like I want to just grab you, mama, like where you have that little roll. It's just like they're getting blown away by the orgasmic energy because the partner literally just like loves that part of them. They're like, yeah, you're like a sexy mama there. Like, whoa. So if you've been stuck on this for a while, and like I did for years, just try and fix myself, heal myself, I would do occasional therapy or group counseling here or there if I was really down. And that did help, and that was important. But if you have been struggling on self-love and self-worth, and you're attracting these partnerships that just devastate you, sometimes it creates a big financial loss because you have to go through a big move or divorce, or you're struggling over the kids, and you just don't want to go through something like that again. And you know it, at the core of it is self-esteem because of something from your past, childhood wounds. You never had the self-worth that you deserve and you desire. Then don't waste your lifetime trying to come up with how to become a self-love expert. Find an expert who is seasoned at going through it. They've gone through it themselves, and they can help you go through it in your own divine feminine and divine masculine initiations. Now, setting boundaries in dating and relationships early on with men and masculinity, again, I want to just bring this back, ensures that your autonomy is respected. So with our clients, we do a self-marriage ritual here in Bali. We have a retreat once a year, and we also do VIP days with our clients, VIP weekend immersions. Because most of us are married off into the university system or the money slavery system or into religion, and we get initiated as teens into do something for the world, do something for your family, do something for everybody else, and then whatever you have left, you can maybe have a little time on the weekends for yourself, or secretly touch yourself and don't tell anybody and feel ashamed about it. But you were born into you. You are the only one like you. You are the only one that will always be responsible for you. And you were there when you were born, and you will be there every day of your life, and you will be there when you die and ascend and beyond. So if you're investing in yourself, if you are treating yourself like a goddess, if you are learning how to love yourself, then great. Thank you for watching this video and doing this work, and for healing that broken relationship between the divine feminine and divine masculine. So I'm going to repeat the keys. Key 1 is heal your own divine masculine. Key 2 is set and clear the boundaries up. Get really, really so clear. And this is what we do with our clients in our Pink Diamond programs, is over a couple of months, we'll get really, really clear on what are your needs and boundaries. And most women have no idea, or they're a little vague, or they're too strong. And then they get too loosey-goosey because the boundaries they were setting were not what they really needed. Key 3 is self-esteem. Self-esteem is at the core of it, and it's the most important key. So we hope that you make it to the top of the mountain, and I wanted to share with you, if you are looking to call in your ultimate divine masculine mirror, your twin. All right, so just want to wrap up the video. We had a little internet issue, and namaste, namasko. Thank you for joining me. I don't know what was missed, but I'm sure you got exactly what you needed. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now, guys. Oh, and click the link below in the description box. It's aphroditeuniversity.org/activate, and that's for the complimentary twin flame activation session for those of you who are really ready to make this year. We start the new year tomorrow with the zodiac cycle in this new moon in Aries, so you're ready for